Good afternoon, this is Occupier Kaylin. I am live in front of the Neil Smith Federal Building here in Des Moines, Iowa. People are gathering to protest Trump's decision to take the first step in pushing for completion of the Dakota Access Pipeline and resurrection of the Keystone XL pipeline, and pushing for additional pipelines run across the country, including privatization of sovereign native lands. People are protesting that. Trump signed 2 memos. They don't have the force of an executive order, but they make his wishes known that he wants these pipelines to go forward and to be expanded. There's a couple more cards down there. We took some cards and knocked them down. Drivers are honking as they're passing by. They will swing around. There are people lining the street holding signs. There's a black flag and a flag showing that they're doing the cowbell to get street visibility. And the rest of the people are standing underneath this overhang of the building trying to get out of the wind because it is windy out here. Swing it back around. There's a banner over here that says Stop Eminent Domain Abuse. A lot of the land that was taken through the Dakota Access Pipeline was taken through eminent domain improperly because the pipeline is not a public utility. It doesn't represent public goods. That is another part of this protest, that eminent domain is being properly used. A big drum which someone will play later. The kids here. And a few pink kitty ears hats. I put my Hawkeye lid on my head instead of my kitty ears hat. I could have got that, but I have my hood up. Snapping a few pictures while witnessing this. Drum is behind because another kid got sent out. So I give him a little treat. Maybe a wider view. Probably 50 people here. Kitty ears hats.
Let's get some energy going!
Get everybody motivated and warmed up.
Get ready to go live, you guys! Start out with this. We're going to say, listen to the people talking, and you're going to say, we don't want their dirty barking. Listen to the people talking.
We don't want their dirty barking.
Listen to the people talking.
We don't want their dirty barking. Listen to the people talking. We don't want their dirty barking. One more time. Listen to the people talking. We don't want their dirty barking.
Is there a switch on it? We might have a issue with the podium.
Hello.
There you go. Now it's on. Now it's on.
How are you folks doing today? And why are we here today? We're here because we don't want it. Shut it down. 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 That's right. We don't want it and we don't need it. It's good to see all of you beautiful people here, standing together, making our voices heard and holding our elected officials accountable. So my name is Heather Pearson, and I am a water-drinking, land-owning, air-breathing Iowan pipeline fighter. I'm happy to be here in front of you folks. We've got some amazing speakers, and we'll try to keep it going along here so we're not out in the cold for too long. So first off, we have Araceli Mondragon, family is from Guerrero, Mexico, and she worked with Faith in Action Bay Area in California before moving here in 2013. She's studying for her master's in nonfiction writing at the University of Iowa. Let's give her a nice welcome. Hello, hello.
There's feedback in there.
If you're here, raise your hand. But ching. Well, maybe we'll save her, do this in a different order. How about we start off with one of my favorite people in the world. His name is Mark Edwards, and he's a retired DNR employee from Boone, Iowa. He doesn't live far from where Dakota Access pulled the pipeline under the Des Moines River, which, you know, where we get our drinking water here, right? The Des Moines River. Now, Mark is, like I said, he's my very favorite river guardian. He has a special connection to that river, and he does everything that he can to protect it. So, Mark, if you could join me.
Thank you. Thanks, Ed, for helping get this rolling here. I'm a proud member of the Sierra Club and Iowa CCI and the Bakken Pipeline Resistance Coalition, and I've been working on this for over 2 years now, and have I learned too much. And through all this time, the consistent message that we've always had is all pipelines leak. So in this last week, we had the largest spill in Iowa of about 140,000 gallons of diesel fuel.
All pipelines leak.
Yeah.
Not if, it's when.
That's right.
When, where,
So the Magellan Pipeline Company had 40 enforcement cases against it for safety violations, even when this spill happened. So, and we've always been promised, you know, that they monitor these pipelines 24/7 from some remote location somewhere in the southern United States. And it takes them just a few hours to stop the flow.
Yeah,
And
right.
here we have the largest U.S. diesel spill since 2010. And this isn't an isolated incident. Since 2010, there's been over 800 spills have been reported. That's about 300 million gallons of gas, diesel fuel, and other petroleum products. And that led to property damages of about 300 million. That means that for every 1 gallon of gasoline spilled, that's $100 of property damage.
That ain't right.
Now let's compare that to the Bakken pipeline, which will be enormous compared to that small pipeline. That small pipeline was 12 inches in diameter. The Bakken pipeline is 30 inches and carries a much more toxic crude oil than diesel. This means that roughly on the river where I live, Des Moines, 1 million gallons of toxic crude passes through that pipe in 1 hour. Okay? So, there's another major difference also between the diesel spill and the Bakken pipeline. And as we all know, Iowa's framed by the Missouri and the Mississippi River, and then we have the Des Moines River that cuts across from corner to corner. And just ironically, that Bakken pipeline follows that watershed. That watershed drains 2/3 of Iowa. So that increases the chance if there's a leak and it gets into those farm field tile lines, we're in deep trouble. So where I live, if I follow that through, what that means is that if it leaks anywhere near that river, the city of Boone gets their water out of that river. And that means there will be no water in Boone, and there won't be any water in Boone for a long, long time because you can't get the oil out. And that also applies to this city here, 500,000 people, and you just live a little bit downstream, so if that oil gets into this river, it won't matter how many lawyers you get, it won't matter how much money you got, it won't matter how many $1 million purification plants you built down here, you're not getting the oil out of that water. And I don't think we've thought too much about that.
No hunting or fishing either, guys.
No paddling in the river. I don't want your dog in there now. So we already have tremendous problems with our water in Iowa. So who assumes the risk for a spill like this? You know, who legitimized this thing? And so when we look at this, this private, limited liability, out-of-state, profit corporation is declared some kind of public utility. And who did that? 3 politically appointed people working for the governor and the politicians who have received direct contribution money from this corporation decided we would risk our drinking water for the benefit of a few rich people. Now, under the new federal guidelines that just got changed in this last year, when they sold us this was all going to be leading to our energy independence, we now find out that isn't true, because now they can directly send this oil directly overseas, unrefined, and sell it on the world market where they're going to make a lot more money. So already today, our drinking water comes in plastic bottles costing many times what a gallon of gas costs. Now we have Exxon in charge of the country, and we'll see more oil and coal continue to dominate our lives. Iowa's already the most biologically altered state in North America. We have some of the worst, most polluted water in North America already. So, water is life, water is sacred, and you can't drink oil, and we better do something about it quick. Thank you.
That's right. I'm going to say water is life. You say protect it. Water is life.
Protect it.
Water is life.
Protect it.
Water is life.
Protect it.
Next, I have the pleasure of introducing Shelley Buffalo, a Meskwaki from Tama, Iowa, and a member of Indigenous Iowa. If you could join us here, Shelley.
Bear with me. This is my first time doing this, so I'm going to try to speak up. I was born here in Des Moines, Iowa, even though I'm from the Meskwaki tribe. So in a way, I'm Meskwaki first, and I'm also Iowan first. But at my very core, I am an American. There is nothing that I can do or say that is un-American. It is so ingrained that it's just impossible for me to act in an un-American way. And I'm going to explain to you how that is. At the heart of my Indian community is the foundation of freedom, the freedom this country was built upon. I want to start with the roots of our democracy and the great law of peace, which was formed by the Haudenosaunee, an Iroquois alliance of 5 nations. I paraphrase from the book 1491 by Charles C. Mann, quote, "Based on the Haudenosaunee tradition and historical estimates, the forming of the Iroquois alliance dates back to between 1090 and 1150 AD. Scholars debate these estimates, but nobody disputes that the Haudenosaunee exemplified the formidable tradition of limited government and personal autonomy shared by many cultures north of the Rio Grande, including Meskwaki culture. The Indians of the eastern seaboard, this is where the Meskwakis came from, institutionalized their liberty to an unusual extent. The Haudenosaunee especially, but many others too. Colonist James Adair said of the Cherokee, their whole constitution breathed nothing but liberty. These were free people encountered by France and Britain, personifications of democratic self-government so vivid that historians and activists have argued that the great law of peace directly inspired the U.S. Constitution. The League was predicated on the consent of the governed, without which the entire enterprise would collapse, compared to the despotic societies that were the norm in Europe and Asia. Haudenosaunee was a libertarian dream. Why do you think the colonists came here? Why? So accepted now around the world is the idea of the implicit equality and liberty of all people that it is hard to grasp what a profound change in human society it represented. But it is only a little exaggeration to claim that everywhere that liberty is cherished, Britain to Bangladesh, Sweden to Soweto, people are children of the Haudenosaunee and their neighbors. Imagine. Here let me now address non-Indian readers, and this is still from Mann's books. Somehow meeting a member of the Haudenosaunee from 1491. Is it too much to speculate that beneath the swirling tattoos, symmetrically trimmed hair, and bedizened robes, you would recognize someone much closer to yourself, at least in certain respects, than your own ancestors? I need a page flipper. So now, some 220, okay, end quote, sorry. So now, some 220 years after signing of the U.S. Constitution, our American democracy has slipped out of the hands of its people and into the grasp of the oligarchy. My grandfather fought and died in World War II in Italy, only 3 weeks before the end of the war. My mother was 5 years old. She heard the bells on Armistice Day and thought, my daddy is coming home. News of his death would not reach his family until several weeks later. He never came home, like so many who fought for democracy. We have sent so many to fight and die on foreign soil in the name of American freedom and democracy. How then can Americans be complicit in the degradation of democracy that is happening right here, right now, not to mention the degradation of our environment, which we depend upon? That's right. Are we really going to sell out for cheap oil, big cars, bigger houses, smarter phones, cheap and fast food, cheaply made, therefore disposable clothes, easy credit, consume, with our eyes glued to the little screen because we have been convinced that this buys us happiness? No. You won't be so happy when you have to pay an arm and a leg for a bottle of water, because that is the only clean drinking water available, and it is all owned by Nestle. That's what those Indians up in Standing Rock have been trying to tell people. It will come to that if something doesn't change now. This movement is so much bigger than a few landowners protesting eminent domain abuse and a tribe demanding their treaty rights. During and after World War II, Eleanor Roosevelt continued to champion civil rights and civil liberties, arguing that America could not simultaneously fight racism abroad and tolerate it at home. The painful sacrifices of war would be pointless if America did not achieve equality and justice for all its citizens. Thanks to the New Deal, the GI Bill, and the other social changes that came about during World War II, baby boomers of the 1950s and 60s benefited from a more inclusive economic system with lots of public services. This was the economic structure that helped so many Americans do better than previous generations. This is why the Trump slogan of Make America Great Again resonates with people. They want to return to that shared prosperity, but don't understand the mechanics of it. In their desire for the good old days, they have put in place an administration that is skewering the nation's wealth into the hands of a few and completing the transformation of our democracy into an oligarchy. Native Americans on a global level represent the embodiment of American freedom. Protesters in South Korea, China, and Ukraine wore Native American makeup. In the 80s, 90s, and the first years of this century. So why are Native images reduced to caricatures in this country, mascots for sports teams? Why?
All right.
It's because we have become so accustomed to our freedoms and the basis on which it stands in, and the people that we learn them from, that it's a joke to us. It's no longer, it can't be. We have to stand up for this. Okay, another page turner. I'll get this done. It's ironic that the Boston colonists who held their anti-British Tea Party dressed as Mohawks. This is definitely not the same Tea Party of today. During the colonial era, the natives who traveled to the Old World were astounded by the inequality. How is it that one man has more than he can possibly use in a lifetime while another man starves in the street? It was unimaginable to those Indians that the masses that starve and suffer do not burn down the houses of those that hoard the resources. So I'm asking you to take part in your democracy.
That's
All right. Do not let the Koch brothers choose your representatives anymore. Do not let big money choose your representatives anymore. You go out and you choose your leaders. You choose your sachems. And you follow the very foundations of what this country is built upon, and you preserve American freedom. And in doing so, we can preserve our American way of life. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. People over pipelines, people. People over pipelines. So our next speaker today is Dawson Davenport. Dawson is a member of the Meskwaki tribe in Tama County and co-founder of Indigenous Iowa. He lives in Iowa City and he's a student at the University of Iowa. So Dawson, if you could come forward. Windmills, not oil spills. Windmills, not oil spills. Windmills, not oil spills. Windmills, not oil spills. All right. Well, we're going to keep running along here. I know we're all cold. So next up we have Kathy Holdifer. I should know her. We shared a jail cell together while protecting land and water. We sang some pretty good songs in that jail cell, but she's a landowner along the pipeline route in Jasper County. She has been actively fighting this pipeline for over 2 years and feels so strongly about the importance of stopping this pipeline that she was arrested last fall for blocking construction with her dear friends. So now we have Karen Doty, and she's an artist who was featured in the Iowa State Fair Ag Building last year. She created a beautiful mural with the theme of water and its importance to Iowa. So I'd like to have those two ladies come up and say some words for you folks.
Hi, thank you. I am Kathy Holdifer. I live in Mingo in Jasper County, where so many people are affected by the Dakota Access Pipeline. So many of my friends and neighbors have the pipeline buried in their land. I did something wrong. I'm louder than you. Always. This is my friend Karen Doty. She's going to share her story in just a moment, but I want to tell you how proud I am that Karen is... Sorry. That Karen is... that Karen has joined our fight to protect Iowa against this pipeline. She's sharing her voice and her beautiful art. She created the We Protect sign image that you see in the background there. I like that because it talks about protecting our environment and how our environment is now officially under attack by President Trump. Officially under attack. The pipeline is buried under the ground right down the hill from my backyard. So for most of the year last year, I witnessed the destruction of the beautiful Iowa farmland that I live in and around. So quote my friend who's a farmer and neighbor, Bill Gannon, he says, all the pipeline company wants to do is get the oil from point A to point B so they can make a lot of money. And he's exactly right. Forget about the lies that Dakota Access told us when they brought this pipeline to Iowa. They talked about benefits. Focus on the truth of what's already happened. Think about the beautiful Iowa farmland that has been ripped to shreds. Think about the imminent, excuse me, I talk about a lot about eminent domain, the imminent danger that Iowa stands when the pipeline leaks. Mark already mentioned the diesel oil that's spilled up in northern Iowa. When this thing leaks, there's no stopping it. 500,000 barrels of oil a day. it can't be stopped. It just can't be stopped once it starts.
1 million gallons an hour.
It's horrific. So that's why I'm happy that Karen's here. I'm fighting to protect Karen's generation, my kids' generation, and my granddaughter's generation against this pipeline. So here's Karen to tell you about her story.
Thank you, Kathy. Hello, everyone. Well, first of all, I would like to thank you all for inviting me here to talk about this wonderful cause and to meet all of you amazing people. I grew up not far from Kathy, just a few minutes from her beautiful country home, and I know all too well where this pipeline is. And it saddens me to see such destruction in a place that I hold so close to my heart. My childhood was filled with bike rides on our trails that follow the creeks and rivers. I spent endless summer weekends canoeing down our beautiful rivers and fishing in our lakes. These memories are precious to me, and it is my hope to one day share these same beautiful and amazing places with my future children. As of late, however, I fear the possibility of creating those memories is becoming less and less. My generation is faced with a sad dilemma that so much of what we loved may not be there for us in the coming years. I currently work as a teacher, a professor of technology and design. Every day I work with people from my generation and the next. We talk about how to make a better future, how to work together to find solutions for green energy and to preserve our land that we love so much. Our world, our environment, our home. People have asked me, why does this matter so much to me? And I feel like the real question is, why doesn't it matter to everyone? We have a duty to our children. We have responsibility to preserve our world. Together we have to protect this land. We must move forward with green energy, clean waters, and environmental integrity. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. I have a question, or Karen has a question for all of you. And do you have that written down, Karen? All right. Karen has a question for all of you, and I think a lot of you know the response, so I hope that you'll just shout it out when you hear her questions.
What do you do when your land, waters, and environment are under attack?
We stand up!
Thank you.
That's right, folks. What do we do when our climate's under attack? We stand up. We fight back. All right. Well, next we have Bill and Pam Alexander, our landowners in Mahaska County, who have stood strong against this pipeline and are part of the lawsuit of 9 families suing over the misuse of eminent domain. So why don't we get one, no eminent domain for private gain. No eminent domain for private gain. No eminent domain for private gain. Woo! So Pam's going to get up and share her experience with us. Pam?
She's hiding.
I'm so small, she missed me. Well, I really don't like doing this, and it's not because I mind public speaking, it's because every time I sit down to write about what's going on here, I get so mad that I get physically ill. So my sister and my mom and I inherited 2 farms in Mahaska County, and this pipeline goes right through the center of them, not to the edge of them. In fact, the temporary easement went through part of our pond even. So
That sucks.
we got our first letter in 2014 that they were coming through. It was very positive. We've already bought our material and we're coming on through. And if you don't agree, we're taking you for eminent domain, which they don't like to talk about. They just try to talk around it, you know, like you need to sign, you're offering you a lot of money. And
Break that got paid off.
yeah, a lot of people got paid off in this
Yeah.
thing.
The brain dead got.
So for just a little background, from the very beginning, we've been lied to about this pipeline. And Iowa codes that were set up, I thought, to protect the people of Iowa have been ignored or just blatantly disregarded. Our first letter was supposed to be restricted certified mail, which means only the person it's addressed to can sign for it. My letter went to Downport to my sisters. My sisters went to my mom's, and because my mom signed for my sisters because they weren't sent restricted, they said my mother was notified. And really, I shouldn't have been even notified because I'm not on the tax rolls as the paying person of our LC. So, you know, from the very beginning, we're lied to. And even though this pipeline is in the ground in Iowa, we are still fighting eminent domain use by a private for-profit company. Once this opens up this can of worms, everything's going to be at risk if you own anything, because the big corporations are going to pay off everybody and end up with it. In August of last year, some landowners, we requested a stay, but through the court system, that they could not come on our property and put the pipeline in until the issue of eminent domain was decided. Their argument was, it will cost us too much to come back and do those farms if we go around them. It's going to cost them like $150,000 or something like that.
What a load of crap.
That was their main argument. Well, the judge didn't give us a stay. I think that date was like, we went to court on the 22nd. The following Monday, he gave his verdict. And on August 29th, we were out of the country, so I didn't have phone access. I got a voicemail saying, they're coming through next week. Well, we were supposed to get 10 days notice. We got that back in June. They said they gave us notice they were coming. So anyway, by the time we got back on Labor Day weekend, it was already in the ground and covered up. Well, the real kicker is they had already gone around us. They had come up to our farm, the road. There was one part between the road and our farm. They'd come up that far and stopped and moved on. When they surveyed our land, we asked for a walkthrough to see where it was going. The land agent says, oh, they probably won't be back here for 6 to 8 weeks. You'll be able to take your crops out. That didn't happen. Another lie. They mowed his crops off because we cash rent. They mowed his crop off and put it in really quick. And we've heard at the barbershop, you know, they talk about women. But the barbershop, one of the guys' hair done there, and they said that they wanted it in as quick as possible, and they slapped it in. So who knows?
Ain't right.
They probably did a shoddy job of it.
So they've never been given a penalty for lying. They've never been given a penalty for not following the Iowa Code. Iowa Code said egg line cannot be used for eminent domain by any other facility except a utility. They are not a utility. Iowa Code says they can only use a 75-foot easement. They got a 150-foot temporary and permanent easement. I've lost all faith in our government that they will protect us because they're protecting the big oil companies and the big companies. I want to thank you all for protesting. I'm not an activist per se.
Well, you are now.
But I'm proud of you who brought your children today. I see a few young ones today. And this is important. And for people who say, I don't know what the big deal is, we have thousands of miles of pipeline, check what's in those pipelines before you say that, please.
Divest from DAPL. Don't bank on oil.
Divest from DAPL. Don't bank on oil.
Thank you so much, Pam, for coming here and sharing what you were talking about. And when Pam says she's not really an activist, I just want you guys to know that's not true. Everyone here is an activist. There are many ways that we can make our voices heard. We have to keep up the pressure and hold our elected officials accountable. So thank you, Pam, for being here. Next we have Melissa Mariquin, and she is the co-founder of Sage Sisters of Solidarity, council member of Indigenous Iowa, and on the board of Quad Cities Waterkeepers. Thanks for being here, Melissa. Come on up.
this down a little. Hello, Des Moines. Anybody here from the Quad Cities, Davenport? No, I'm all alone. Well, thank you. It's really, really awesome to be here. Got here a little late, but we made it. We persevered. I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit about what Sage Sisters of Solidarity is doing in the Quad Cities. Wow, my face is cold. We are indigenous, created by 3 indigenous women in the Quad Cities who really, kind of like what she said, we weren't activists, we were just women who felt connected to the earth, who knew we had a connection to the water. We're indigenous women. I am Yukon Apache from Texas. One of my other sisters is Regina Sosi. She is she's Dene from Arizona. And then our third sister, Josie Ironshield, is from Standing Rock Sioux Tribe in North Dakota. So it hit her obviously very, very hard, and we all felt that sense of unity and pain, and we wanted to come together to tell the Quad Cities, hey, this is happening all around us here in Iowa as well, here in Illinois, and nobody seemed to really be talking about it. So we just joined forces, came together, and that's how we started Sage Sisters of Solidarity. But what we're doing down there, is really encouraging people to sign these environmental impact statement affidavits that the Quad Cities Waterkeeper, who is one of our allies down in Davenport, wrote up, and it's basically, I wrote up this whole thing that I hope everyone will grab on your way out. But it explains what the environmental statement is, what an affidavit is, and what exactly environmental statement affidavit is just a notarized document demanding that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers do their job. There are policies and regulations, laws put in place that are there to protect the people and the land. So we are demanding that they do that. And that they do the environmental impact statement for the entire 1,172-mile project. Not just a small portion that they've agreed to do. And as we all know, our administration expedited the environmental study process. But he can't override it. It still has to be done. We still have until the 20th to send in our comments, to send in our thoughts, what we want to happen, and that we want this environmental impact statement for the entire lake. What? So that's essentially what it is. This thing goes into greater detail as to what each aspect of it is, but I really encourage everyone to fill one out today. I am a notary. It does have to be notarized. I became a notary specifically for this affidavit. I'd be happy. I've got a little table set up over there that if you guys have your IDs, you want to. I got pens. I got clipboards. I'd be happy to notarize as many as I can. If not, you can go to www.eisdemand.org, and that will send you a direct link to the affidavit. You just print it out, fill it out. Do not sign it, of course, until you're in front of a notary with your ID. The really beautiful thing about this affidavit is and we don't want this to happen, of course, but should the pipeline become functional at some point, when it leaks, because we know that it inevitably will, we can then enter into a class action lawsuit with our affidavits as evidence. So that's the powerful thing about this affidavit, and makes it a little different with a petition. So I encourage everyone to come over to the table. I'll notarize it for you if you guys don't have time, or if it's too cold, I get it. But definitely spread the word. We are on Facebook. We've got a webpage. I've got some business cards, all that kind of stuff. And I'll share it with everybody and anybody. So thank you, Des Moines.
Iowa. We don't want it. Shut it down. We don't want it. Shut it down. We don't want it. Shut it down. We don't want it. Shut it down.
All right, just making sure we're all still going, staying warm here. Next up, we've got the lovely Christine Novus. She is from the Plains Cree Saulteaux from George Gordon First Nation, She grew up in Winnipeg and has lived in Iowa City for 10 years. She's the founder and co-chair of a wonderful organization called Indigenous Iowa. Let's give Christine a big welcome.
Hi everybody, thank you for coming out in this weather today. You guys are dressed in no dapple chic today. So today I just wanted to just announce the good news that Trump and his administration lift the gag order on the EPA. And I know this. I know Trump is very much affected by what popular society says about him, and I know this is why it was lifted. Because what we are doing is making a difference. So some people say this was a tactical a reason that they did this, to spread chaos in the media. But you know what? I don't care. I don't care. Because what we are doing is right. And we are making a difference. So today, I want to speak to Trump today, to our president, excuse me. I want to speak to President Trump today. I want him to know that he's surrounded himself with the wrong people. He has surrounded himself with people that work in the shadows. These men and women that he wants to work with, their minds are stagnant, and they want to reproduce something from our past. They want to bring us back. They want to dismantle all of the progress that we have made in this country. They have an agenda, frankly, that I don't even think lines up with Trump's agenda. And I don't even think he knows that, frankly. He's like a Trojan horse for the white supremacist movement, for the religious fundamentalists in this country. And these people don't understand climate change is happening. So what we need to do is keep the pressure on, because I think that the president will listen if we keep working this way, if we keep using our voices and coming out and standing together and signing the petitions and creating organizations. Go to indivisible.com and download the guide, okay? Everybody has to work at the level of their government. We have to work at grassroots levels. That's right. The other thing I want to stop doing is just fighting a pipeline, okay? Of course we got to fight these pipelines, right? But what we have to do along with that is provide the alternative infrastructure that we need in order to switch over. So, I'm not kidding. Start investment groups. I don't even know what that is, but I'm going to find out and I'm going to start one. Okay? Start looking into what these companies are doing locally, because there's so many solar and wind and geothermal companies in this state alone that we need to support. So start doing that. Let's just not make noise about the pipeline and all the bad gases in the air. Let's talk about what we can do to make this change happen. Because you know what? Mr. Trump is a businessman. And if we show him that our economy can thrive with alternative infrastructure in place, then he might be willing to move in that direction. We, the people, have to change the economy. This is the only way I see this happening, because for some screwed up reason, this is the way this country works. This is the way the world works. It works with money, and I'm sorry about that. But we have to change it from the ground up. If we don't give them our money, then they can't function. If we show them that we want something else with our money, then that's what's going to happen. The economy is going to move in that direction. So please, everybody, keep fighting the pipeline, but also be thinking that alongside this fight, we need to do something else with it. We need to provide an alternative.
Thank you, Christine. Invest in our future, not fossil fuels. Invest in our future, not fossil fuels. Invest in our future, not fossil fuels. Up next, we have someone who is deemed the #1 hellraiser in Iowa. Someone who has been a mentor and a great personal friend. Ed Fallon is the director of Bold, Iowa, and hosts the Fallon Forum. He walked 400 miles following the length of the pipeline in 2015. Let's give it up for our very own Ed Fallon.
Thank you very much. Hey, I really appreciate everybody coming out on this really, really cold day. And I know all of our allies who have been fighting this for so long really appreciate it. The march last weekend at the state capitol, 26,000 people rallying around a host of concerns that are critical to the women in our society. And I see that momentum continuing to grow and continuing to build, and this is an example of that, so thank you. I do want to say one thing about, I read the paper this morning, and I was so distraught at what I saw Donald Trump saying about Syria. Yeah, I mean, basically criminalizing an entire nation of people. And it really made me sad because I have personal connections to some folks from Syria, including the gentleman who was taking photographs for us today, Michelle Uniman. Michelle, are you here? Yes, come on up here, Michelle. I mean, this is a great man. And I dare Donald Trump to look him in the eye and say, you don't belong in this country. And as we build more pipelines and transport more fossil fuel and cause more climate change, there's going to be climate disruption all over the world. There's going to be more, internal catastrophes like we've seen in Syria. And are we going to respond with the kind of hate that this is coming from our administration? I hope so. So I want to ask Michelle just to say a quick word, and then we're going to wrap it up with a song and send you home, hopefully warm.
Hi, everybody. My name is Michelle Yunadam. I'm born in Syria, and I studied 5 years in the Soviet Union, and I came to the United States in 1989. I'm married to a beautiful lady from Norwalk, Iowa.
That's where Superman's born.
That's where Superman's from, one person said.
I support your movement. I salute you guys because for very simple reason is when we have a good environment, good climate, that means we have a healthy human being. If we harm the environment, if we harm the climate, that means we harm the human being. So I support you guys. And also, unfortunately, we have in our administration president, he violated the Constitution of the United States, the one based on human rights, and not discriminate people on the basis of their religion. So, thank you guys.
All right, you ready, Heather?
All right.
This land is your land. This land is our land. The world is our land. It's our land. Live for us. Till every morning. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking
freedom fighters, thank you for being here. Let's do everything we can to stop this. Because we don't want it. Shut it down. 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 We have a gentleman here named David who's collecting some donations for Standing Rock. Thank you, David, for being here. David, raise your hand. Hey. So if you'd like to help out, you come find David. Thank you, folks. He's got some handouts for you as well.
You're very welcome. Send up there to buy supplies up there. Hiding somewhere. I got supposed to give her a ride home.
Christine's got a quick announcement for you folks.
Hi everybody, any of you who are planning on filling out those environmental impact statements affidavits and you're just taking the forms home with you, make sure you get the address of where to send them before you go. The address is written on a piece of paper on the table, so just so you know. Thank you.
Look over there. Maybe she's over there. No. Did I wear the wrong hat?
Yes, you did.
I wore my hawk hat instead of my kitty ear.
Okay, well, I love your sign. Nice to meet you. I will give you
I should have worn my kitty ears instead of my hawk lid.
You should sew them onto your hood.
Well, I don't have any pink that I could do that, and you know, I will wear that again. I have a pink hat with kitty ears on it, and it's actually got a little bow attached to one of the ears. $7 on eBay, and I wore that to the room. Picture that up on Facebook, and the pictures of that went all over Facebook, and someone in France even had a picture of that. Because I got a picture taken by someone who was shooting pictures for contact in France. And, I had my Muslim and woman sign there. This is a table where people are signing the affidavits and having them notarized. Where they're taking the forms as if they do not have time to stay. I have already signed one of those affidavits a few months ago. It was a very good thing. So I hope that Army Corps of Engineers gets flooded with 1 million of these affidavits. That would be awesome if 1 million of these things got dumped on them. That would be sweet.
I would love to see their look on the faces if they see 1 million of these. That would be sweet.
Has been translated by the State Department.
Yes.
Okay.
I sure am.
Okay, I thought you were. How are you, Kaylin?
I'm good.
Oh, you better not leave this country. You might not get back.
Well, I can't afford to leave right now anyway. Plus, there may be too much stuff.
They can't identify you.
I'll see you later, Kaylin.
Later.
Till the next time. Wherever
There
that
will
may
be
be.
next time.
Wherever that will be.
Yeah, the way this country's going.
Gosh. Well, I've got a Sunday tomorrow. I guess that's tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to Cuba for a delegation from
Que
women.
bueno.
Un poquito.
Que bueno means very, how good.
So maybe you should teach me a little bit because I don't know very much. We got going down to Cuba for more like building stronger relations, not so much missions. More building back and forthness between Plymouth and us. So.
Do it now before you lose the ability.
Because they're talking about Guantanamo Bay, Trump is the system. I mean, are you kidding me?
There are people in there who should not see.
Yeah, well, they still consider the Cubans still consider Gitmo occupied territory. The United States has taken over with this military complex on it.
Yeah, because it is
disgusting.
It is occupied territory.
It is occupied territory, yeah.
It's giving back to the people.
Yeah, it should. Exactly.
There's something more productive with it.
Exactly.
Jack their economy. I mean, that could be some, good fishing. They're fishing
because I'm sure they have a
or
radius.
They could set it up as a nature reserve.
Right.
Protect the environment.
So many things that could be utilized for the benefit of actually the people there than us just exploiting that part.
Yeah, and using it to screw over people who shouldn't be in there.
Right, yeah, exactly. Oh, what, the whistleblowers?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Let's go back to waterboarding the whistleblowers so people telling the truth. Craziness.
I watched a video of a guy who was in the army and he was sent down as missing chessboard. But when he saw the abuse for himself, and he tried to warn them about it, but they ended up deciding that he was a problem. So they got rid of him. So he got kicked out of he left the army or he got kicked out or something like that. So,
honor. Well, it probably wouldn't be honorable.
Probably not.
Right? Yeah. For
whistleblower.
Yeah.
Because he's a whistleblower.
Right? Yeah. Tell about your dirty shit.
Yeah.
There. Oh, I'm not in line. Sorry. Okay.
I did one of those a while back.
Did you? Yeah.
I would love to see the look on their faces if they see 1 million of those affidavits. That would be sweet.
Thank you.
People are still sticking around wanting to. They're actually signing the affidavits right here. So it's very good that she became a notary for the sole purpose of taking these affidavits. So the more these that get done, the better things will be.
So you can come Wednesday nights when that time doesn't work for you. Contact Carolyn, and there are other times that are shaping up.
Ed and them went too, but I'm out of here.
Well, go ahead.
I drove Ed here, so I feel bad leaving him, but
well, if
he has other people.
Yeah.
He's not being left like alone.
No.
I gotta get to work. My other employee has 2 sets of twins, and they're all sick. Oh my goodness! Could you imagine that? I know. She's like, Renee, my house smells like vomit.
Oh, that's gotta
I'm like,
suck.
I can only imagine. She's like, there isn't anything that hasn't been puked up on. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. I'll be in a few. Like, I'm like, sorry, I'm protesting right now, rallying. Like, I will be there afterwards. I am empathetic to your situation, and you're empathetic to my cause, so we'll just split it, okay?
Okay.
God.
Yeah, catch you on the flip side.
I know. See you later, Kaylin.
Still people hanging out over here.
What does Trump executive order mean?
Hello.
Okay, so we're gonna go somewhere. Let me get that. I'll let you know what's up. Okay, all right.
Court Avenue would probably be the best place to find something that's open. Hello. Oh, good. Walaikum salam.
How are you?
Oh, good. Alhamdulillah.
Staying warm, yes?
Yeah, I'm trying. But I had to come out here and do this.
Oh, yes, all of us.
Yeah. I drink this water, so I got to protect it.
Well, we do too out in Omaha, in Nebraska.
Oh, yeah, I was out there a while back in front of the federal building. That was
I was
sweet.
there. I saw you there.
Yeah, that was sweet.
I see you.
Yeah. I think more people are starting to disperse. There are not as many people here, so I'm going to go ahead and take my stream down. So there'll be future things to come. I'm not sure what yet. But I will definitely be trolling for steps to stream. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the stream.